Hey, what's up guys? Joker here, and today I need to bring you another rant as Call of Duty Modern Warfare is going to be releasing next month, a game that I'm actually pretty excited for. I was a little bit excited for it before the beta, and after playing the beta, I have been extremely excited to get the final release. I hit max rank in the beta, something I almost never do in beta testing, going all the way up to rank 30 and playing it through the entire weekend. So I've been super excited for this game to come out, for the story, the Spec Ops, everything that goes along with that, and now we find out that there is going to be a piece of the content completely removed and exclusive to one specific platform, and also we've got a leak saying that there's going to be weapons in loot boxes, and none of this shit is okay. But first, today's video is brought to you by LevelKey.com, where you can save money on games for all of your favorite platforms, as well as software like Windows 10 Pro for under $16, Microsoft Office 2016 for $33, and Microsoft Office 2019 Professional Plus for under $70. And if you use my code PDS22 at checkout, you could save yourself 22% off of your Windows 10 Pro key, or you can get 3% off of the entire website with the code PDS3, or 16% off with PDS16 for any software over there, so be sure to check out the links down in the description below. So first up, let's talk about the survival mode from Spec Ops, which is being completely sliced out of the game for the next year from the PC and the Xbox. It's only going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4. This was revealed yesterday as part of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare story trailer, which looked pretty good. I'm excited to play the story, as I said at the start of the video. Can't wait to play this game, but the fact that they're going to be removing a portion of the Spec Ops mode, the survival mode specifically, a lot of people thought initially that it was going to be the entire Spec Ops mode, but no, it is specifically the survival mode, which is the Horde mode. It's basically like the Nazi zombies of Modern Warfare, so you could see why a lot of people would be upset about this. It's never been as successful as Nazi zombies or the zombie Horde mode, but it's basically the Horde mode for Modern Warfare, and it's being completely removed from the game, and the developers or people working at Infinity Ward have been just kind of dismissive of it and saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's just a small piece of the game. Although I would argue that it's a huge deal that they are doing this, because it is going to hurt everyone, even PS4 players, and this is removing it until October 1st, 2020. As you can see on the trailer there at the bottom, it says this is going to be a timed exclusive until October 1st, 2020. That is an entire year just about, and that may as well mean that it is never coming to the other platforms, because as we all know, there is a new Call of Duty that comes out every single fall for the last, 10, 15 plus years. There has been a new Call of Duty every single fall, either October or November. Sure as shit, sure as taxes and death, there is going to be a new Call of Duty game coming out, which means by the time that this comes out, nobody's going to want to play it, because for the majority, I'm saying some people do stay on the older titles and kind of hang on to it if they like it a little bit more than the newer game that comes out. But for the most part, at least for the core audience of Call of Duty players, once a new game comes out, they pretty much migrate over to that new title, and they may never or just sparingly touch the previous title again, let alone to go back for a survival mode if it was something multiplayer related. Maybe, but by the time this comes out, a lot of people are going to have moved on to other games or to the new Call of Duty whenever that comes out. So saying that it's only a timed exclusive until October 1st is a misnomer in my opinion, and it's basically saying that you are never going to get this mode. And that is just not okay. I'm not okay with exclusive content when it comes to, certain things. If it's a first-party thing, if Sony is developing, their own game, whatever, and they want to keep it exclusive to the PlayStation, that is one thing. But things like the Epic Store, where they go out of their way to get exclusive stuff to have on their store that can't be on Steam, even though Epic didn't have anything to do with the development of that game besides throwing money at the publishers, that kind of stuff I have always been against, and I will continue to be against seeing that type of stuff, and especially when it comes to something like this, which is cross-platform for every single platform. This is like the first time in history we have ever seen cross-platform, and it's been done really well here, where PS4, Xbox, and PC players can all play together. So that's why I said previously, this is going to hurt PS4 players as well, because one of the best things about this cross-platform being brought into the Call of Duty series series is giving you a much larger player pool to be able to queue up with. So for people on the PS4 that are like, oh, well, I'm getting a PS4, so what? Well, guess what? Now you are going to have a significantly smaller pool of players that you can queue up for if you wanted to solo queue, or if you don't have a full party that you wanted to go and play the survival mode. You are now going to have roughly a third, very likely, of the player base to be able to play with. So you're going to have a harder time getting into full matches with a group of people to be able to play this survival mode. So this doesn't affect just Xbox and the PC, it's also affecting Sony users. So don't let them mistake you with that. Now, Infinity Ward has come out over on Twitter. They've obviously been receiving a lot of backlash. People have been wanting refunds. People saying they're going to be boycotting Modern Warfare. So people have been attacking them over on Twitter. And one of their guys, Taylor, has been responding to tweets over there where he had this to say. He said, "You could play Spec Ops in every new bit of content we drop day one," although that's clearly not true, as he condescends that in the very next portion of the sentence, where he says the only timed exclusivity is survival, which is a sliver of Spec Ops, which I would argue is not. It's an entire mode within Spec Ops. It's the Horde mode. Horde mode is a significant chunk of a lot of games that come out. Gears of War has a Horde mode. The other Call of Duty games from that other studio that makes Call of Duty games, which is currently escaping me, Treyarch, the Nazi zombie mode. I was like, total brain fart there. The Nazi zombie mode. Could you imagine the backlash? How much even worse it would be if Nazi zombies was trimmed out of a new Treyarch title? People would lose their shit. People are already upset about this. If it was Nazi zombies, you could bet it would be even worse. So them trying to sort of minimize the impact of this and saying it's only a sliver of the Spec Ops mode is just PR speak rubbish. And no matter which way you slice this shit pie, you are removing content from the game in all likelihood for money that was paid to you by Sony. Up until now, Sony has no doubt been the lead platform for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They had the first beta exclusive to the PS4. All of their marketing material has been geared towards the PS4. So Sony has definitely at some point given them some type of incentive or more money to be able to get this timed exclusivity and have other things like the beta first on their platform. So that is why they are doing this. No other reason other than money. And if you already pre-ordered Call of Duty, I can totally understand why you might want to go ahead and get a refund. I'm not going to cancel my pre-order, but this is a reason why you should not pre-order games. I pre-ordered it to get early access to the beta, and because I'm going to buy the game day one anyway, I wanted to play the beta early, as I said, get a couple more days on it. And when the game comes out, I want to be able to benchmark it for you guys and test it on the channel and also play the multiplayer. Now, if you did decide you wanted to get a refund, I can report, thankfully, that you can actually get a refund, even though it's all through Blizzard, it's not through Steam. It's probably not as easy as a process as if you had gotten a game through Steam, which you can't with this game. It's exclusive to Battle.net. But one of my followers, Street Guru, actually tweeted out to me that he was able to get a refund. He said, if you pre-order Modern Warfare 2019 on PC, at least you can get a refund, no questions asked. He did ask them, and he said, basically, Blizzard got back to him and said, so good news is it shouldn't be an issue for a refund exception since the game isn't even out yet. Bad news is we are at the mercy of the tools, basically saying that they don't have tools in place like Steam to be able to quickly process refunds, but that it shouldn't be an issue, but they're working on it. He said thank you, and they said looks like that it went through basically, and keep in mind that it'll take 24 hours to clear our system, 5 to 10 days to open your bank. So that's basically you at the behest of the bank and transfers and things like that. So that's all understandable, but it's thankfully if you did pre-order and you are really outraged by not having the Spec Ops survival mode that you can't play it, then you can at least go ahead and get a refund on the PC, and I mean, if you pre-ordered it, you know, for console through like GameStop or Best Buy or whatever, you could always just go cancel your pre-order and get back your $5 or whatever you put down on it. Now, there is another developing story as well, which I do want to say that you should take with a hefty grain of salt, as this is just a rumor. It's a leak at this point from someone that has been a credited leaker in the past, known as the Gaming Revolution. He was responsible for leaking the 2v2 gunfight mode that was going to be in Modern Warfare, which, as we all know, is now a real thing. So he has some history of being credible, but of course with anything, this could definitely be bollocks, and we're just going to go on it based on what he's saying right now and discuss it. But basically what he's saying is that the loot boxes in Modern Warfare, and of course loot boxes are going to be in Modern Warfare, which I think up until now we probably assumed was going to be cosmetic things, like, I don't know, maybe like emotes or sprays, gun camos, reticles, different things like that, like we've seen in previous Call of Duty games. But he's basically saying that there's going to be actual weapons in the loot boxes, and that part is not okay, because there can be some weapons that are better than other weapons that are in the base game, and now it's being put behind this luck-based paywall of having to pay money or maybe grind out and earn in-game currency to be able to buy the loot boxes and maybe have a chance of getting a few weapons that are in these boxes paired up with hundreds of other things like sprays and emotes, so on and so forth. So you're going to have theoretically hundreds, maybe even thousands of meaningless padded out items in these loot boxes as filler, and then if you wanted to get a weapon, there might only be a small handful of weapons actually inside of the loot boxes, but that have been basically stripped out of the main game. We saw this with Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 had weapons in loot boxes. They did it post-launch, which they probably did so that they wouldn't get backlash at launch, but eventually they did add it in. People were outraged, and they had weapons that you could only get inside loot boxes, and that is what people are fearing is going to happen again in Modern Warfare, as they're trying to make as much money as possible off of this game from their core audience that is willing to go out and pay for these things. So it's a possibility we could see weapons in loot boxes, which would be bad news bears. I mean, we saw how that went for Battlefront 2. It basically ruined that entire franchise for EA, in my personal opinion. They're going to have to do a lot of work to reclaim Battlefront 2 with EA. So that's, you know, if they go that route and they have it at launch where there are certain weapons you can only get in loot boxes and you have to pay for them, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, I feel, with the gaming community, core audience, as well as casual players that are coming over to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Maybe their first COD, maybe the first COD they've played in years because of the previous games, which have not been up to snuff, like some of the earlier titles in the franchise. I would definitely be annoyed by that if I found out, if I'm running around and all of a sudden I'm getting killed by this ridiculous weapon that other people have and I can't get unless I go pay for loot boxes and feel like rolling the dice, essentially, to try to get a gun in a pool of other things like emotes and sprays and gun camos and what have you. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, but please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on everything that we got here today with the survival mode being stripped out of the game for PS4 players only, which, don't be mistaken, that affects PS4 players too, as I explained. The loot boxes and everything, which again, totally rumor the loot box thing, so take it for what it is. Hopefully it's not true. I hope it's not true, but it probably is. I mean, let's face it, honestly. But I'm going to go ahead here, get out of here. I do look forward to your comments, feedback, and everything down in the comments below. As always, as I'll be reading through those. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on it down below. Subscribe if you're not already, and if you've been here for a while, consider ringing that notification bell. That way you never miss a moment of content as soon as it goes up live here on the channel. And I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Sarah.